We are not in mathematics class. So the last one I want to show you is reduce. And this is really, really, really powerful. You can do a lot with reduce. You can actually do filtering, mapping with reduce. So you can say that this is just like, it has muscle. So it is really, really powerful. It's a really, really powerful method. So map creates a new array. This is just a refresher. Map creates a new array by transforming every element in that array individually. Filter creates a new array by removing elements that does not belong or that doesn't meet a particular condition you set in the filter. You know, when you're talking about filter, even if you want to filter water, what do? You make sure, like, let's say you have a clothes and you want to filter a dirty water. So that clothes, so if there are some particles inside that water, they are not going to pass through that clothes because they do not meet the condition. And what is the condition? Because the condition is the holes that you have inside that clothes. Like if that particle is bigger than those holes, then they shouldn't go through. So you are doing what? You are filtering. So the same thing applies to that. So reduce, on the other hand, takes all the elements in an array and reduces them into a single value. So one thing I love most about this method, map, filter, reduce, is the name. So the name is descriptive. Everything that is going to happen is going to do what? It's going to go in line with that name. Map is doing what? Map is mapping. It's mapping them like, okay, this is the first one. Oh yeah, take this. Oh yeah, second one. Bakoje, take this. Third one. Oh yeah, take this. You know, filtering is doing what? Filter is doing what? It is filtering. Like, okay, you are not part of them. You are a what? Omani. Go out. This one, you are not part of them. You don't meet the condition. Go out. This one, you are not part of them. Go out. So reduce is doing what? Reduce is taking every element in an array and reducing them to a single value. So just like map and filter, reduce is available on any array, and you pass a callback as its first argument, but it also takes an optional second argument, which is the value to start. You know, when you want to combine all the arrays in that, all the elements in that arrays together. So you are starting from somewhere. So I'm going to show you one easy way to get started. So let's say I have a reduced array. Oops, you don't know how to spell. Reduced array equals numbers. So let me just copy the numbers again so that we'll see. I want us to be keeping. So let's say we have. Should we use this? Let's use this. No problem. So let's say we have the numbers. So this reduce is going to do what? It's going to take reduce. As with map, filter, we write reduce. Oops, what's wrong with you? So we write reduce, and yeah, you know, for filter and map, we used to have a function that takes one element and perform other operations on it. But with reduce, reduce takes two parameters. So it's going to take an accumulator. You can call this whatever name you want, and it's going to take each element. So in our case, I'm using number as elements. You can write whatever you want here. You can write item, you can write elements, you can even write read one. So it's just for you to understand what you are writing and you know what operation you are performing on them. So I'm just going to write number so that it's kind of descriptive and you can understand what we are actually doing. And we have this. Oh boy, you are like, read one, this is getting confusing. So like I said the other time, this it can be any name. So this accumulator could be any name. And sometimes if you are going through some other tutorials, you know, sometimes you can write ACC, it's accumulator, and sometimes you can even write anything. So you can write, my surname is Balogun. Just so you understand what you are doing. So I will write accumulator so that that will really help you to really understand what is happening. Because I want to make it descriptive enough. So we actually understand what number is, and what is number. Number is each element on this particular array at a particular time. So it is individual elements we have in our array collection, and an accumulator is a variable, you know, where we can store the information that happens in the body of this function. Whatever that happens here, we are going to store it here. So that is accumulator. It is accumulating things. It is collecting things, you know, accumulating them. So let's say we have, let me just write something out so that we can understand. We can do accumulator plus the number. So we are doing, just like we have our function, if you remember, you know, when we are dealing with function, we say function, and we can call this name of the function, then it takes two parameters, and we are saying this okay, we are saying return A plus B. So it's the same thing we are doing here. Like, it takes the accumulator, which is the first parameter, then the second parameter, and it returns what? First parameter plus second parameter, just like we have in this example here. So nothing too serious yet. So we have a return value, and we are returning this accumulator plus number. And what we are saying here is that every time you iterate over this array, let's say you go around for the first time, you have the first number, which is 1. So accumulator plus 1. So let's say the first time it goes around, the number is 1. So it's going to be accumulator plus 1. But now we don't know what accumulator is. So the second around is going to be 4. So it's going to be whatever accumulator we have plus 4. That's serious. So presently, our accumulator is 0. So what we have here now is accumulator is 0, then return 0 plus 1. So 0 plus 1 is what? 1. So the second time it goes around, you remember I said accumulator is accumulating whatever we have in the body, whatever results we have in the body. So if it goes around the second time, so this is going to change to 1 for the first time. So if it goes around, number is what? Number is 4. So it's going to be 4, and this one is now 1. So 1 plus 4 is what? 1 plus 4 is what? Is 5. So now our accumulator is 5. So the 5 is going to go here. Then it goes around again. It's 6, 5. So it puts 5 here. Then our accumulator is 5 plus 5. So now we have 10. So our accumulator is now what? Our accumulator is now 10. Now let me just write it down. Let me write it here so that we can see. So I'll do accumulator. Accumulator is now 10. So accumulator is now 10. So it's now going to add. So the second time around, we have 6. And we remember, it's going to remember like, okay, accumulator is 10. So it's going to add 6 here. So 10 plus 6, that is what it's going to return. It's going to return 10 plus 6. So now 10 plus 6 is what? 16. So it's going to, accumulator is going to remember that it's 16. So the next time around that we have 34, it's going to add, put 16 here. Then the new number, which is 34, then it's going to be 16 plus 34. And 16 plus 34 is what? 50. So the accumulator is going to, so it continues like that for every value you have, you know, in your program. So bear in mind that reduce returns a single value. not an array containing a single element. So now the question you have in mind is, what is this accumulator? Actually, we haven't defined accumulator anywhere. In reduce, after the function, we always have a second parameter. Oh boy, Edwan, you are confusing us. What's the meaning of this? So let me just, the best thing I can do is, let's write a function and put this accumulator there. So let's write a function. Oops. So I'm going to write a function. And this function, we can call it, what can we call it? Reduce function. Let's call it reduce function. Let's call it reduce function. And here, to say, reduce function is going to take two things. Let's say A and B. Yeah, A and B, and it's going to return what? It's going to return A plus B. Oops, A plus B. Actually, this is straightforward. So we are using this reduce function here. Yeah. So this is it. So reduce takes a function and as a parameter and another value as a parameter. So reduce takes two parameters. The first thing is going to be a function, and the second parameter is going to be a default value, or we call it initial value to start with. So in our case, I'm saying 0. So now I just use this so that you understand what is actually happening here. So I'm going to return this back to the way it is. So we don't need this. I just use that to like explain. So we have our initial value with 0. So let's console log and see what happens, then I will explain further. So if we console.log reduced array, so let's copy this into the console. We got 122 back. So now you'll be asking me like, what is happening? Why are we getting this back? Okay, let me explain what is actually happening here. So what is actually happening here is, we say start from 0, then, so when it starts from 0, so that means if this reduce function is going to run, accumulator is 0 because we set it here. So take the number, which is 1. So it's now saying our accumulator, which is 0 plus 1. The answer is 1. So it keeps it somewhere. The answer is 1. So we now have, let me delete this. So we now have 1, then reduce is going to be plus. So the second time around, we have 1. So it's going to say 1 is accumulator. The second number in the array is what? 4. So 1 plus 4 is what? 5. So it's going to be 1 plus 4, 5, return 5 back. Then it's coming around again. The accumulator is 5. The next number is 5. So it's going to be 5 plus 5, which is 10. Then we have our accumulator to now be 10. The next number is 6. So 10 plus 6 is 16. So the accumulator is now 16. The next number is 34. 16. So it's going to be 16 accumulator plus number, which is 34, gives us 50. The next number is what? The next number is 67. So the accumulator is 50. Then the new number is 67. So it will be 50 plus 67. Somebody can help me with that. So 50 plus 67 is 117, if I am right. So our accumulator is what now? 117. 117 plus the next number, which is 5. So 117, which is the accumulator, plus 5, we have, so 117 plus 5, we have 122. So that is what we have here. That is exactly what is happening, nothing too serious. So this 0 can be anything. Anything. I have a question from someone. Yes, I cumulative frequency. I'm actually Mr. Lawadapo. Please, next time if you want to chat with me in the chat window, always make it public so that other people can see your. Please rewrite that and put it in the chat window for everybody to see. Please. Thank you. So just put everyone, because I'm the only one getting it privately, so that other people can see. We are here to learn, so that other people can actually learn from it too. So Mr. Lawal said cumulative frequency. I use this for total cost. Okay, wow, that's interesting. So, no, thanks for that, Barakat. So let's say we change this to, if we change this to, let's change this to 5. So if we change this to 5, let's see what we are going to get. So I'm going to copy that again. So if I paste it here, we see the results. Oh, let's reduce array. We got 127. What is happening? The first time around is going to be 5 plus 1. Then whatever result we have plus 4, whatever result we have plus 5, whatever result we have plus 6, whatever result we have plus 34 plus 67 plus 5, and we got 127. So that is very, very cool. You know, all these mathematicians, they can actually use this particular code to perform some operations, and they will get their what's it called? So let's look at another example. Let's say we want to find the sum of a list of numbers. So this is another example. So let's say we have the numbers instead of the one we have above. We have. So this is I want to use for each, so that we can see how we can write the code with for each. Let's say we have a list of numbers here, and let me just do numbers to 5. What can I do? Numbers to 5. Okay. So let's say we have numbers to 5, and if we want to use, let's say we want to use for each. So I'll just using for each to reduce. So let me just use this example so that we can understand what is happening. So we can, you know, with for each, we want to have somewhere where we want to save that particular variable. So, okay, let me say let total. Oops. Let total equals 0 initially. So I can say numbers dot for each. So for every number, return total plus equals number. So if you remember, we have this from our when we started, what's it called? Our iteration of a thing. So here I'm saying for each number, return total, whatever total is at that time, plus number. So if we do 0, which is 0 now, total is 0 plus number is what? 1. So now we have 1 equals to whatever this is. So another thing I want to explain, probably you've been seeing this before, or you've never seen that before. So this mark is the same thing as this. Oops, don't exit. It's the same thing as saying total equals to total plus number. Probably, I think we've done that before. So this is the same thing that this is saying. Whatever this is, assign it to, you know, this. So if total is 1 initially, if total equals 1, so the new total is going to be whatever total is, which is 1, plus the new number, which is also 1, for example. So now the new total is what? The new total is 2. So that is what that means. So you can see that our for each has some side effects and it's impure. So this is how to do that with for each. So if you copy this now, and let's go, oops, I made a mistake here. So 5. So that's the particular array we want to perform computation now. So if I copy this now and I do this, and I check total, what is total? Total is 15 because 1 plus 2 is what? 3. 3 plus 3 6. 6 plus 4 10. 10 plus 5 15. If our total starts from, let's say, 10, you get a different answer, maybe 25. So how can we use reduce? Actually, it isn't bad, using for each for this. But reduce still has the advantage of allowing us to avoid mutation, to avoid side effects, and to have a pure function. So with reduce, the way we would write it is like this. So with reduce, we can say let total reduce equals numbers to 5 dot reduce, and the accumulator, then the number can be anything. So what do you want to do? I want you to return the accumulator plus number, and let me just maximize this so that we can see. So return accumulator plus number, and this is going to be inside their own circle. Then here I want you to start from 0. So let's try this and let's see what we are going to get. So I'm going to copy the number to 5 again. So let's clear this. We have number to 5, and let's check our total reduce. Let's see if what we are getting is. So we have this. So if I check total reduce, I get 15 back. So what is actually happening? So first, we call reduce on our number, which is numbers to 5. We pass it a callback, which accepts the previous value, which is 0, the accumulator, and the current value, which is number, as arguments, and returns the result of adding them together. So since we passed 0 as a second argument to reduce, it will use that as the value of the previous value, or as the value of the initial accumulator on the first iteration. So that is how reduce works. So to recap, reduce iterates over all the elements of an array, combining them together. However you specify in your callback is going to combine them together. So on every iteration, your callback access to the previous value. So that is what reduce does. So I think the time is 1:55. Let's join these things together. So I'm going to call this into, let me call